Hello and welcome to Quarterlight, your car brochure channel, and a continuation of this Leyland Cars all model brochure. Now, episode 4. Hello and welcome back, and if you're new to Quarterlight, we're a car brochure channel here on YouTube, looking at car brochures from around the world for the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s, and sometimes beyond that as well. So if you're interested in cars and car brochures, please consider subscribing. Anyway, back to today's episode. Yes, we've been looking at this fascinating and huge all model catalogue for these Leyland cars. So let's jump into this one. And here we are. This is actually part 4, but I'll do some links to previous episodes at the end, and once I've finished this series I'll lump them all again together so they're easier to actually find. So this is part 4. If you missed the previous episodes, it doesn't matter hugely which real order you actually go in. First episode we started talking about the front cover, explaining this brochure from September 1977. And then we jumped in looking at the minis, lovely little mini range in 77. And then the week after, in part 2, we ended up looking at the amazing Maxi and Wedge Princess. And then last week we looked at the lovely Allegro. I really love these cars. I know they always get a hard time in the press or in people's minds, or if anyone looks back at them, but I think these are fantastic cars that just really pushed the realm of how long their lifespan was. I think that was the main image, but Leyland Cars management was terrible and they didn't have any money, so they wasn't in the best of positions by 1977. Anyway, today's episode will be the Morris Marina. The Morris Marina is kind of like the pinnacle of all that. I mean, if you read things about the Marina, even if you watch things like old Top Gears, they would tell you that it's the worst car ever built, which of course is complete nonsense. When it came out, I would describe it as an average car, and really that's what Quarterlight is all about. Quarterlight is about the ordinary car of yesteryear, the cars you would have remembered. So really the Morris Marina is kind of the pinnacle of that. Not much more ordinary car than a Marina you could really find in the 70s. Anyway, let's move on to that page and have a look at the 77 Morris Marina. So here it is. The Morris Marina falls after the Allegro in this particular brochure. Now this, by 1977, would have been the Marina after it had some updates in 75, sometimes referred to as the Marina 2. The early ones, this particular brochure is from 1971 when it was launched, so it ran from 71 till 1980, the Marina. I always preferred sort of the grille design and the interior of the very first Marinas, I must admit, but that's nothing unusual for me. I usually do find the first generations of a car to be kind of like the purest and my favourites, so nothing new, although I still liked the Marina 2 as well, and some people actually preferred the designs and the grille of these later Marinas. Anyway, let's zoom in on this particular image. So this brochure is featuring this rather nicely coloured Morris Marina, and you can see that facelifted grille at the front there. I always quite like the Marina. Whenever I see pictures of a Marina, I always think of my granddad had a green Morris Marina, and I kind of like got memories of going to like the seaside, and also memories of it once when it overheated and broke down, but still that's part of your memories. So I always think quite fondly of the Marina whenever I see pictures, or well, it's been many years since I've seen one on the road, particularly now I've moved to Canada. You don't see any Marinas around. Having said that, last year I did see one for sale, although in Canada these were badged the Austin Marina, because the Austin was a more familiar badge, I guess. Anyway, let's move to the text and see what it's got to say about itself and how it introduces the Marina in 1977. So it introduces it as great range, great value. In very general terms, it might be said that the Marina group of models have the same part to play in the motoring scene as those of the Allegro range. This is partly true, but they play it in different ways, appeal to different tastes. Marina design is a straightforward and orthodox. It embodies a fore and aft mounted engine driving the rear wheels through the hypoid bevel gear rear axle, independent torsion bar front suspension and semi-elliptical springs at the rear. This configuration means for ease of operation and servicing. It is popular with businesses and fleet users, as well as a great many family motorists. So basically it's saying it's a little bit out of date, it's a bit old-fashioned design, I guess, but saying it in a way that's it's easy to repair, easy to service. Marinas are available in 2-door, 4-door and estate versions, and you choose the degree of economy, performance, or a range of furnishings and fittings that best suit your needs and pocket. In every case, simplicity, reliability and value for money have been primary considerations in the design concept. Anyway, let's open the brochure up further and see how it introduces the range. So the first page is kind of the lower specs Marinas, the 1.3 Deluxe and Super Saloons in both 2-door and 4-door guys, and at the bottom there we've got a Deluxe Estate as well. Let's start with these saloons first though. So it tells us the Morris Marina 1.3 Deluxe and Super Saloons. If you're looking for a practical and economical car to take you anywhere on business or with your family and bring you back, you'll find it right here. Pleasing no-nonsense exteriors on both 2 and 4-door versions enclose a passenger compartment that is roomy enough to carry 4 people in comfort and a luggage compartment big enough to hold their belongings. The sensibly shaped seats are trimmed with knit-backed vinyl facings on deluxe models and nylon fabric facings on super models, while for the driver, instruments and controls are sensibly located for easy reference and operation. With the Marina, low-cost motoring does not imply a low level of finish. Equipment is certainly generous, with an effective heating and ventilation system, the feel of fitted carpet beneath your feet, the convenience of coat hooks, the safety of a heated rear window and hazard warning lamps being among the features which can be enjoyed. The 1275cc engine provides a smooth, quiet performance and is much praised for its reliability and low petrol demands. A little bit of a peek at the interior. I do believe these would have been Allegro seats by this time, around about May 77. They started putting Allegro seats in your Marina. If we move along, obviously that's your vinyl and that's your supers with the nicer seats. Look at that carpet though. A little bit of a zoom in on this 2-door example, and of course this would have actually been your deluxe version, so the super basic model, and then the 4-door is your one model up. It's a 4-door, but it's also the super 4-door. But of course, here is the Estate 1.3 Deluxe, so it's pretty basic. With the Estate you enjoy the same car comfort and economy of operation as in the Deluxe saloons, but the accent here is on space. Big space and then more space. 4 doors and a wide high lift tailgate give you all the access you need to the travelling hold-all. With the back seats in position, you get 4 seats and a gross capacity, blah blah blah, telling you about the sizes inside there, and it says it's all done very easily. So let's just have a quick look at this Estate. So it's not a split seat, but simple fold down operation, so it would certainly be a practical car for sure, and a very 70s and very common colour for the Marina actually. Now just a bit of a reminder, these pictures are actually not just in the main brochure, you'll find them in the other brochures of similar years as well. So that's very same picture is seen here, obviously in larger form in the brochure that's just specifically for that 1.3 estate. And then your higher spec, more desirable, larger engine models, so your Morris Marina 1.8, Super Saloon and Estate, and then the Morris Marina Special, GT and HL. Ooh. Let's start with the 1.8s. So while the interior furnishings are generally similar to that of the 1.3 Super Saloon, these 1.8 models are powered by the famous B-Series 1798cc engine and its well-proven design and excellent performance characteristics. For all its 72 bhp, this engine is far from thirsty, and the additional power is easily handled by wider section tyres and a servo-assisted disc drum braking system. Again, there are 3 versions from which to choose to suit your particular way of life. Whether the 2-door, 4-door or estate is the car of choice, you can be sure that it can become a good family friend and a reliable business partner for as long as you need it. So picture wise, we get this 1.8 litre 2-door Super. Very nice spec in a very 70s brown. Apologies, it is on the crease there. We also get this really nice 1.8 4-door Super, which looks very nice in one of those safety colours. It looks like orange, hard to make out because it's lots of shades, and just incidentally the one in Canada was in that same colour. And at the back there, one that just describes it as the 1.8 estate. And then we get these final Marinas that are a little bit more special. The Special, the GT and the HL. Continuing our conducted tour of the Morris Marina 2 range, we come into the area of executive motoring with the 2-door and 4-door Special, 2-door GT and 4-door HL. As compared to the 1.8 Super, the Special offers additional polish and style. It gives an extra edge to car ownership. On the outside, you'll find vinyl covered roof and 2 supplementary halogen rectangular driving lamps. Within, enjoy the added comfort of head restraints built into the reclining front seats and little extra touches like fascia, glove box lamp, boot lamp and electric clock, which make the Special special. The Marina GT and HL have styling very akin to that of the Special, but they are powered by a twin carburettor 1798cc engine developing 85 bhp according to Autocar, January 1976. The HL reaches 60 miles per hour in 11.4 seconds. Seems really slow today, but I don't think that's quite respectable actually for 77, and a maximum speed of 102. Comfort is, of course, to a high standard, and the handsome looks of either car will attract favourable comment in the most expensive company. So this first one is a 2-door GT. Well, that's a little bit nice, isn't it, actually? There's a nice go faster stripe. We've got that vinyl roof and these extra lights in the grille there. Very nice. And these little bit of unusual front. I don't know if I've actually seen one with these extra little overriders on there. Very interesting. Next picture. This is your interior of the GT. Head restraints, quite nice seats, bit of wood. Hated the Marina 2 interior, to be honest with you, just by the simple fact that the radio pointed the wrong way. Maybe we'll have a better look at that in a moment. Other pictures. This is your HL interior. This is your 4-door Special in a very nice metallic green. I don't think I've seen a Marina in that colour. And that lovely vinyl roof and an interestingly coloured interior. And then finally, Marina fans would have aspired to own the top of the range HL. Again, in a very modern looking colour. Here is a better image of the interior of the Marina 2. Now this is much lowly model, this is that 1.3 estate, so not as fancy on the inside, but you can see how that dashboard kind of like points the wrong way, and that is the one reason I don't think I could live with the Marina 2, and that's why I prefer the original Marinas. It seems a very strange idea to do that. And then this is an image of the original Marinas. This is from 71. Unusual coloured seats and a much more traditional, what you would expect an interior to look like. I much prefer that interior. I think they should have just kept that all the way through. So specifications, I'm not going to go through too much of the specifications because I'd like to think we can get another car in today, because this brochure is huge. There's only so many episodes we can do before everyone thinks this is going on too long. Anyway, so the base model of course came with that 1275cc engine and 57 bhp and a 4-speed synchromesh on forward gears. And we got very simple optional extras here, just a brake servo. And then we move up to the top of the range one, the HL, apologies it is on the crease, so the 1.8 is in fact a 1798cc 85 bhp engine with twin SU carburetors. And then the options on the top model, we could have auto transmission, metallic paint finish and a laminated windscreen. Anyway, let's see what next, or what comes up next I should say, in this particular all range brochure. So the next model up is in fact the MG, and it's kind of like strange having the MG and the morrismini in the same episode, but you know, we'll take it. Let's have a look at the main image. So the main image for this one is actually a difficult one to see. It's a MGB GT right in the weeds there, a strange shot. Kind of a reminder by 77 we've got these rubber bumpers on our MGs. Anyway, let's have a look at the intro. So the MG being described as the great British sports car, probably one of the oldest and best loved names in British sports cars, the MG is as popular with the modern generation of enthusiasts as it ever has been in the past. It is a classic of its type, traditional in concept, yet as up to date as today with its lively styling and first-rate engineering. The MG marque embraces 3 models, the Midget, MGB, both open touring cars. There are not many of these about nowadays, and the MGB GT Saloon. Each one has its own special appeal and each responds willingly to good driving. All models have a 4-speed all synchromesh gearbox, rack and pinion steering, radial ply tyres, disc drum brakes, independent front suspension and 5 mph impact absorbing bumpers front and rear. Their control is precise, their handling predictable. You'll find that where it matters most, it takes a lot to beat an MG. And then we open the brochure, the next page along, and it shows all 3 MGs all together on one page. Again, a little bit of an old-fashioned design even by 77, because hatchbacks, and particularly hot hatchbacks, were starting to become the thing. Of course, Golf GTI would have been out by now, of course. But I don't mind the MG still being around. It's one of those iconic designs, iconic shapes, so in a lot of ways I don't mind these still being sold. A lot of the other models, particularly the Marina, I think the Marina should have been coming to the end by now instead of limping on still further. And certainly British Leyland had, and Leyland cars and what came before it was certainly they kept cars along a lot longer than they really should have done. A lot to do with poor management really, and having a short of money. The exceptions of course was the Mini, which kept going a long time, and I think rightly so, because you think about cars like the Beetle, the 2CV having long runs, and rightly so. I guess the exception is, and the car that should have carried on, I think, the morrismini. Is that a weird thing to say? I don't know. I think like the Beetle and the 2CV, this could have had sort of like a very lovable longer life really, and surprised they didn't keep it longer, although obviously when it was axed it was an ancient car, but still I think it could have carried on like the Beetle did. Anyway, I'm getting a bit sidetracked. So we start off with the MG Midget, midget by name but far from midget by nature. It's a nimbler performer with a sturdy twin carburettor engine of 1493cc, capacity capable of spirited acceleration and sustained high-speed cruising. The cockpit is snug and businesslike with everything arranged for comfortable, satisfying control. You can adjust the rake of the seat backs to suit yourself. Access the situation at a glance from clear, well-placed instruments and operate the stubby remote control gear lever with a flick of the hand. If you're sporty and young at heart, the midget will certainly do something for you. All images, placed on the crease unfortunately, but we can certainly see we've now got that rubber bumper, this impact absorbing bumper by now. We also get a little bit of a better image of that rather snug interior of the midget. Let's move on now. So then we get another convertible, the MGB. In this great British sports car you can enjoy many of the advantages that saloon car drivers have. That doesn't make the MGB any less of a sports car, simply a better one. You get good legroom, a lockable glove box, cigar lighter, dipping interior mirror, courtesy console lamp, reversing lamps, phase level ventilation and overdrive. You get other things as well, including the kind of fresh air motoring saloon cars can never offer. And you get some impressive power from the 1798cc twin carburettor engine to drive away the frustrations from the world around. And then there we have the MGB, and then what I think is a very lovely MGB interior. And then moving down the brochure, the MGB GT, which I think is actually my favourite of the three, to be honest with you, the hard top version, the Tourer I guess, with that more practical hatch. Anyway, let's read this one. For the enthusiast with a penchant for even more comfort, there's the MGB GT, a car with all the sporting characteristics of open model but with a stylish enclosed saloon body. Handsome adjustable rake front seats are faced in eye-catching striped nylon fabric, and there's a useful occasional seat at the back trimmed in the same material. With the GT body comes extra luggage room too, about 9.5 cubic feet of it, reached through the full-sized high-lift tailgate. Your touring cases go with you in this truly grand Tourer. And then we get this terrible image actually of this particular MGB GT, but it is a nice interior picture. I do particularly like the interior striped seats in this colour, I must admit. And then I've just thrown up an actual MGB GT brochure, and as you can see it's the same image, but it works a little bit better on this full size brochure rather than that tiny little image. And this brochure also shows a glimpse of the rear with that hatch up in what is obviously the same car, and the three models all together. Obviously the rubber bumper is the thing that really stands out on these particular ones, going away from that chrome bumper models. And in fact, when people used to restore these in the 90s, they used to remove those rubber bumpers and put the chrome ones back on. But I think people have started to quite like them now, and more people are actually leaving them on, and I in some ways actually preferred the rubber bumper models. I don't know why, I just like the look of them. Anyway, so a quick look at the specifications. So the midget had a 1493cc with a twin SU HS4 type carburettor, gears, 4-speed synchromesh. The MGBs came with a 1798cc producing 97 bhp with a twin SU carburettor as well. Nothing in the way of optional extras available for the midget by the looks of it, but it looks like for both the MGB and MGB GT we could have painted wire wheels. So a little bit strange episode actually, putting the Marina and the MGs together, but that's just how it fell in this particular brochure, to give us a nice look next week at the Triumph range. And if you notice, we're only halfway through this brochure. So there we go, the further adventures of the Leyland Cars all model catalogue. Is an interesting one, isn't it? Then we started off looking at the Marina, moved on to the MGBs, and then next week the Triumph range. Thank you so much for watching today, and if you've not done already, do please consider subscribing. And wow, how can you not subscribe when you've seen such beautiful Marinas? It is completely free, of course. Thank you so much for watching. Please do take care, and we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.